Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. Today, something interesting. This fragrance right here is Perry Ellis Oud Black Vanilla Absolute. And a lot of you out there may not even know what this is. It came out about 10 years ago. Yeah, a whole decade. That's insane. Time just like that fast, man. It flies. But this fragrance right here, at one point in time, was a massive hype beast. I'm talking huge. You could find this online for under 30 bucks. Yeah, dirt cheap. And it was one of the best cheap vanilla fragrances that you could find. This stuff absolutely ripped. And as I said, not all of you are gonna even recognize this fragrance, let alone have smelled it. It's one of those fragrances that even when it came out, people were a little bit trepidatious. They're like, Perry Ellis. You're telling me Perry Ellis came out with a fragrance for like 30 bucks that smells amazing? Sure. Kind of like Mercedes-Benz Club Black. A lot of people are gonna go, Mercedes-Benz put out an amazing fragrance for cheap? Okay. But then they smell it and they go, oh. This was like the same thing, only maybe even more hyped, because at one point in time, everybody wanted this stuff. And then, gone, discontinued. That is, until now. A lot of you guys hit me up and said I was at my local Burlington and they had Perry Ellis Oud Black Vanilla Absolute for 30 bucks. Which meant that I needed to take a trip to Burlington, which I did, and indeed, $29.99 is what I paid to pick this up. Ho, ho, ho! And this is kind of weird. I don't know if it's gonna become a trend, but also Ralph Lauren just released Polo Red Extreme. Really no fanfare. They didn't announce it first. They just dropped it out there. Suddenly it was available. Polo Red Extreme was already a thing that is discontinued or was discontinued. And now they've brought back the name. New presentation, name stays the same. Note breakdown looks different. I've ordered it, don't have it yet, but when it comes in, I'll compare it to the original and let you guys know how different or how similar it is. But it's really odd that now we have multiple designer brands coming back out with at least the same name of a fragrance that was discontinued that people love. So again, I don't know if this is gonna become like a trend, but if Gucci comes out with a new Envy, we will know that's the new elixir trend. People bringing stuff back from the dead, or at least the same name, back from the dead. So I'll get to that Ralph Lauren in a future video. We'll talk about that later. Today, it is all about Oud Black Vanilla Absolute. Is this the second coming of one of the best cheap designer fragrances ever made, period? Do you need to immediately drop everything and go to your local Burlington and scoop this up? Or is it something different? We'll get to that. First, we will begin where all of these reviews truly begin, by taking a look at the presentation, which as you can see is similar but different. First, the box. It has a similar pattern to the original fragrance's design in terms of the box. You have the name of the fragrance, name of the house, size and concentration on the front, eau de parfum 100 ml size. You have Perry Ellis Oud on top of the box. On the back, you have your ingredient information, and on the bottom, you have your batch code and barcode. Box opens up like so, and then your bottle sits inside there. Another interesting thing with this is Black Vanilla Absolute was the big one, but they had two other fragrances in this line. Those other two were Saffron Rose and Vetiver Royale. Actually, many years ago, I did a review of all three. It was a while ago. But this was the big one. This was the one everybody wanted. The other two, people didn't care as much. And here is the new bottle design. So you have a little gold plaque on the front there with the concentration, the name of the fragrance, the house. It also says Perry Ellis on the front of the bottle, also around the collar. The cap is similar looking, but different at the same time. You have a sticker on the bottom. The cap clicks into place, and the new cap is a little bit lighter than the old one. The old one had more heft to it. Also, I'll say in general that the bottle feels slightly cheaper in the hand to me than the original. The original one felt just a little bit better put together, if that makes any sense. All right, let's go ahead and do a couple sprays of this new version of Oud Black Vanilla Absolute. Also do a couple sprays of the original one here as well. There we go. Now, as I said, the original version here, big vanilla bomb. That's what this is known for. It actually does smell a little bit similar to something like Mercedes-Benz Club Black, which I mentioned before as being a hyped up vanilla fragrance, but yeah, it's like kind of similar to that. Also a little bit similar to Guerlain Spiritueux Double Vanille, so it's kind of like that as well. I'm gonna compare each one of these versions as we head through the opening, the mid, and the dry down. What's similar, what's different, all that. When you first spray on the original one, you get hit with that vanilla right away. It's this dark, almost black vanilla, hence the name. It's layered with just the right touch of rum that gives this nice sweetness off the top. It doesn't go toward boozy headache territory. Perfectly done. Little waft of woodiness underneath it all. There's density, there's depth. It smells ever so slightly mature, but not in a dated kind of way. It's a nice nuanced vanilla and it smells premium, especially for the price tag that you used to be able to get it for. The re-release over here, the new version, the 2025 edition, it opens a lot differently. It starts off loud, a little bit shrieky, definitely has more of like a synthetic, almost cough syrup adjacent sweetness when you first spray it on. You don't really get hit with rum, you don't really get hit with vanilla. Off the top, it's more like Yelp had a baby with Comra. Like they had just this cough syrupy, saccharine, sticky sweet baby, and they were like, bottle that please. Truly off the top, if you spray these on side by side on skin, tester strips, whatever, they don't really have much in common at all when you first spray it on. So if you were hoping to get this new version in, blast it on and be like, deep, rich rum and black vanilla with a nice dark woodiness underneath. Just syrupy, sweet, bits of spice when you first spray this on. No deep vanilla, but of course it might change as it dries down. And through that mid, the original version, it takes that booziness, that vanilla, and it starts to get this resinous warmth that works in underneath, this really nice amber that comes in. And while for a split second you get an almost lightly green, faintly green kind of tone along the edge of the fragrance from the opening into the mid, that fades away and you get more tobacco that comes out in the original. It's like a lightly honeyed tobacco. The oud note that's in here is definitely not one of your animalic ouds, not a funky oud. It's just kind of a dark, semi-spiced woodiness. And you could say that helps with the depth, helps add some more richness to that vanilla that really pushes this fragrance forward. Because even though it has oud in big letters, really it's more about what it says below that, Black Vanilla Absolute. That's what this really is, as I've kind of talked about a few times here. But don't let the oud that's on there fool you. That's not really what it's about. That's just a nice wearable woodiness that helps give a little extra longevity and, like I said, a little more depth. It makes it smell cozy, seductive, and classy all at once. This stuff perfect for fall and winter time. The new version, a little different. Into the mid, the new version ditches that cough syrup vibe, thankfully. Like that doesn't stick around for all that long. Then it becomes essentially like Comra Junior. Yeah, it's like a little Comra light type of fragrance. Those vibes that you pick up from Comra and all the other Comra adjacent scents, you basically pick up the same kind of vibe here. That sort of praline meets dates meets cinnamon with a vanilla backbone. So you do get vanilla here, just a different type of vanilla, where over here it's dense, it's rich, it's almost borderline decadent in terms of how much a $30 vanilla fragrance can come across. This one instead is a little bit more fizzy and more one-dimensional. It's wearable, sure, but it definitely comes across like it's inspired by one of 50 other Middle Eastern clones that are already out there, essentially. But what about the dry down? The original, semi-dark, that vanilla still coming through, lightly spiced woodiness underneath, a softening ever so slightly vanilla, and then that warm, dark amber. The tobacco still coming through, still faintly honeyed, really seductive, sexy smelling still into the dry down. It's textured, it's addictive, it is way better than it had any right to be when it came out at the price it used to be. The new version, it gets some woodiness too, but it ends up smelling more like ambroxan. So it's like an ambroxan-y style of woodiness with carried over spice. The richness never really develops, and the vanilla that's in there never really feels like Black Vanilla Absolute. It just smells like generic vanillin 101, vanillin, like this synthetic styling of vanilla that it has from the mid that carries over into the dry down. So unfortunately, it's almost like this derivative fragrance that wants to be Comra or something similar to that instead of being its own thing. And it's definitely not bringing this back to life. Really, the most different part between this and actual Comra or fragrances like that is the opening, which is also the worst part of this fragrance. So frig. And I'm gonna get to performance and everything in just a second, but There is one thing that I think immediately keys you in on what's going on with this, and it's this. If you look at the original on the bottom, on the sticker here, it says made in USA. If you look on the bottom of the new one, it says made in UAE. Now, I could be grasping at straws, but I'm pretty confident that what they did is somebody at Perry Ellis or somebody at Phallic Fashion Group. Am I pronouncing that correctly? F-A-L-I-C? What? Phallic? So yeah, somebody at Perry Ellis or the fashion group, they said, hey, remember that fragrance that we had years back, and it got a lot of hype online. What if we bring it back? Okay, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna just have like this cheap clone house or a cheap manufacturer in UAE make it for us. We're gonna cut corners. We're just gonna ask for something popular. You know, give us something popular, something that's got vanilla in there, you know, so it kind of jives with the name. We're gonna pop it back out there and see how it goes. And so whoever they got to make this fragrance was basically like, oh, Comra's popular, we'll do something like that. And then they just kind of popped it into the bottles here and they were like, good enough. And lots of people out there who have never smelled this are gonna smell this and think they're getting this, the old hype beast, when in reality, they're getting a watered down Comra. So that's what it feels like to me, like they're trying to get a little groundswell somehow of hype on this one, piggybacking off of the hype that the original had years ago. It is kind of weird that they just dropped it out of nowhere at Burlington of all places for a whole whopping 30 bucks. But it's almost like they're taking this and trying to use this to compete almost with clone brands instead of just bringing out this again, which maybe they can't do that at the price point where it would be profitable. I don't know. But if that's the case, why come out with the same name? Obviously, you're trying to piggyback off this. It's just kind of crappy. It's like, I don't want a worse Comra for 30 bucks in the same name and a similar packaging style to one of the most hyped fragrances of the past decade. Like, what are you doing? And as far as performance and everything goes, this one starts off really loud. The new version starts off really, really loud. So you're thinking, oh, it's gonna be a beast. But what actually happens is, as time goes on and this dries down, it actually weakens up quicker than the original. The original was not a monster. It had good performance, like the longevity was solid. It would stick around. It just didn't project like a monster, you know, it was okay, it was solid. But it was never the type of fragrance where you were gonna spray it on and people were gonna be like, oh my God, that's insane, you're filling the room. This one underperforms the original. So it starts off like it's gonna be louder, like it's gonna project more, but then in actuality, it is a little bit weaker as far as projection goes and also longevity. Both of these are more fall, wintertime fragrances, the original leaning more toward evening use. This one, I'd say daytime or evening. So obviously at this point, you already know my opinion, my feelings here. This sucks. So many people that are into fragrances that never had a chance to smell this one, never owned this one, but they knew about it, they heard about it. They have gone and picked this up, thinking that what they're getting is this, and it's not. These are not the same. Spray them on side by side, there is 0% chance you'll get them confused. Unfortunately, Perry Ellis / the Phallic Boys have come out with this fragrance, trying to get people to buy it because of this fragrance, and instead they are buying a worse, like I've said, Comra type of scent. If you see this in Burlington, you don't need to pick it up. I mean, if you're a completionist and you want to get it because it has like a similarity to this one as far as like the presentation, the name, everything, you know, go for it. It's 30 bucks, it's not that expensive. But if you're looking for what this one gave, it's not this. And if you're wanting a fragrance that smells like the new one, just get one of the 50 clones out there that does it better, probably for less, that frankly smells higher quality. Like if you put this next to Comra, Comra smells 3 times more expensive than this, easy. It's just, it sucks. So there we go. There it is. There's the new one. I was excited. My excitement went away. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.